The foreign ministers of the G20 grouping are in Bali for annual talks before the November summit. The meeting was overshadowed by the war in Ukraine. However, ministers failed to reach common ground against Russia's attack on its neighbour. It's the first time since Russia's invasion of Ukraine that US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov have been in the same room at the same time. But there were no exchanges.
You know, it was not us who abandoned all contacts, it was the United States. That's all I can say. And we are not running after anybody suggesting meetings. If they don't want to talk, it's their choice.
The Russian foreign minister walked out of the proceedings at least twice. Once when his German counterpart, Annalena Baerbock, spoke at the opening session. And again, just before Ukrainian foreign minister Dmytro Kuleba was to speak via video link during the second session.
The Russian government does not want the United Nations to be part of the negotiations on grain exports. That the Russian foreign minister spent much of the negotiations here not in the room but outside the room underscores that there is not a millimeter of willingness on the part of the Russian government to talk at this time, especially on important issue of how we get this global food crisis under control. The Russian foreign minister was not present. It is therefore all the more important that we, as the leading industrialized nations of the G7, now join forces to support the countries of the Global South.
Indonesian Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi urged the group to overcome mistrust for the sake of a planet confronting multiple challenges from coronavirus to climate change as well as Ukraine. Susan Tehrani is still with us. Susan, how high or how low are expectations around the G20? Will it actually achieve much?
Right. You know, consensus remains so elusive, not only because of this mistrust between the East and the West. You really have two pillars with opposing politics and ideologies, not only regarding the Ukraine crisis that we're seeing, but other issues as well, with recent news of NATO's expansionist ambitions. And then you also have China really expanding as well beyond Taiwan, and Russia, you know, making recent statements saying that Ukraine is just the beginning and talks really not coming at the negotiating table now. The later talks are held, the more difficult that they will be. And this is the atmosphere that G20 is taking part in. And then you have two somewhat unrelated issues that are hovering over at least today's meeting, and that is, of course, the assassination of Shinzo Abe and the resignation of Boris Johnson. So yes, expectations are very low, but as we also saw the Indonesian foreign minister alluding to the fact that it's really the poorest countries of the world that are taking the brunt of the problems that the international community are facing, which is really the food shortage crisis and the fuel crisis as well.
Thank you, Susan. That was Susan Tehrani, our correspondent with live analysis from New York.